I mean, Jay, you know, you gotta remember, he didn't want 50 at the Super Bowl. That was crazy. I'm like,
wait, Jay didn't want 50 at the Super
you didn't
Bowl?
know that? Yeah, he didn't
Well,
want.
I remember Eminem pushed for it.
That was some hated. Yeah,
I remember
pushed for it.
Eminem was like, I'm not gonna do it.
His homie wanted to look like a gay painter.
From clowning JayZ for trying to copy the vibe of a famous gay painter to straight up calling him out, saying his whole rise came from marrying Beyonce, 50 Cent's been coming for Hov's neck for years. But this time, Jay finally breaks his silence, and the internet's going wild over this clip. Let's dive into the chaos, the Super Bowl scandal that almost never happened. So here's the deal. Something's been bubbling low-key in the hip-hop streets for a while now, and most people have no idea what's really going down. This isn't just another rap beef, it's a full-blown power struggle between two industry giants, and it's spilling out of the booth and into the boardrooms. We're talking major moves, the kind that decide who's eating good and who's left out, staring through the glass while everyone else's plates are full. And yo, what makes this whole situation wild is that this ain't some dusty throwback beef from the late 90s buried with FUBU jerseys and Rockaware fits. Nah, this is fresh drama, and 50 Cent swears JayZ was pulling strings behind the scenes to block him from one of the biggest platforms in the world, the Super Bowl stage. Now picture this. It's February 13th, 2022, Super Bowl 56 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. The whole coach is buzzing, expecting a legendary halftime show with Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar ready to light it up. This was supposed to be the moment, hip-hop front and center for the world to see. Then, out of nowhere, like it's 2003 all over again, 50 Cent drops in, literally, hanging upside down, recreating that iconic scene from his In the Club video.
When Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those trophies came rolling in.
The crowd lost it, the timeline exploded, and fans everywhere were shouting 50's back. But behind all that hype, rumors started flying that JayZ had tried to keep that moment from happening in the first place. What really went down behind those closed doors? The internet was on fire with memes and throwback clips after that halftime show. But according to 50 himself, that legendary moment almost got cut, and the name behind it, JayZ. Now this is where the story flips from music to major power moves, because what's happening here runs deep. Since way back in 2019, JayZ's company, Roc Nation, has been running the NFL's entire Super Bowl halftime show operation. That means Hov isn't just performing, he's the one calling the shots. He decides who gets that career-changing spotlight, how the show looks, and who even steps on that stage. Basically, Jay holds the keys to the biggest TV event in America, no exaggeration. But here's the twist. 50 says Jay used that power to try and shut him out completely. Fast forward to December 2024, 50 rolls up on Cameron's show Come Talk to Flea and spills the whole thing. He says Jay went straight to Dr. Dre and Eminem, telling them he didn't want 50 anywhere near that Super Bowl stage. That's wild, right? But here's where things really hit different. Eminem wasn't having it. That bond between 50 and M runs deep.
He told Dr. Dre, just for people who's not up on this, or Eminem, that he didn't want you to perform part of that Super Bowl they had a couple years ago.
We're talking about real loyalty, the kind that don't fold when the stakes get high. Now, 50 didn't sugarcoat a thing. He didn't say it was about creative disagreements or scheduling. None of that. He flat out accused JayZ of using his corporate power to block another artist's shine on purpose. That's a serious claim, and it makes you wonder what's really going on behind those boardroom doors. And when you think about it, this ain't just two rappers who don't vibe with each other. This is about control, influence, and old street beefs turning into business wars in suits and ties. But wait, it gets even crazier.
You think that is?
Well, I just think,
Threatened?
possibly. Not even threatened. You know, I think it's just when you take the competition from like our culture is competitive, man. It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand.
So here's where the story really flips. 50 Cent revealed that Eminem straight up gave the NFL an ultimatum. He told him he wouldn't perform unless 50 was part of the show. That's loyalty right there. And Tony Yayo, 50's day one G Unit brother, backed it all up when he sat down with DJ Vlad, confirming every single detail of what went down. Just think about that for a second. One of the most hyped Super Bowl halftime shows in history almost lost Eminem, one of the biggest names in music, a living legend, all because JayZ allegedly tried to block 50 from touching that stage. That's not just petty rap drama anymore. That's major business politics with real money on the line. Those kinds of power plays could have cost networks millions and had the entire NFL looking wild on one of the biggest nights of the year. And 50 didn't just throw shade. He laid out the receipts. In July 2024 interview with The Hollywood Reporter, he said, "They wanted to leave me out of it. It was them fighting for me to stay out of it. It should be in the NFL paperwork now. Eminem is not performing." 50.
Pass the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like right now, you're not even competing for a slot. You don't have a new song out that he want to be on the top 10 or top 5, and you still competing. It don't make sense. Like, what are we competing for?
That's a bold claim, but he stood on it. Then, by October 2024, when 50 popped up on the Breakfast Club, he doubled down again. He told everyone straight, JayZ blocked him. And at first, people tried to make it look like it was the NFL's decision to dodge the heat. But 50 said he saw right through it. His connections inside the industry told him exactly where the resistance came from, and it pointed straight toward Jay's camp. So what could make one of hip-hop's biggest moguls allegedly try to sabotage another legend's Super Bowl moment? According to 50, it's all about competition. That rivalry didn't stop at the mic. It spilled over into business, branding, and who really runs the culture. This wasn't just about a stage. It was about power, legacy, and two titans fighting for control of the game. 50 Cent got a theory, and it's a bold one. He believes his rise as a powerhouse in TV production, especially with his hit Power franchise on Starz, turned him into a real threat to JayZ's business empire. That show didn't just pop, it became a full-on cultural wave, pulling massive audiences and shifting the conversation about who really runs entertainment. This ain't about who's got the hottest bars or the biggest first-week sales anymore. This is about empires. It's about market share, influence, and who gets to control the future of hip-hop's business side. 50 claims that even though the NFL publicly took the blame for the Super Bowl mess, he always knew the real call came from Roc Nation. The corporate shield was up, the official statements were smooth, but behind the curtain, 50 says the power moves were pure JayZ. He wasn't fooled for a second. He says the whole setup was classic corporate maneuvering, plausible deniability on full display. But what really set the internet on fire was the fact that JayZ never said a single comment about it. Not one public comment, nothing. And that silence, it spoke loud. Fans went into full debate mode. Some people saw JayZ's silence as classy, like he was too big to stoop down into drama. But others took it as a quiet confirmation that maybe, just maybe, 50 wasn't lying, that maybe those accusations had a little more truth to them than anyone in Jay's circle wanted to admit. By late 2024, the conversation got even bigger. In September, Cameron and Mace started speculating that JayZ might have also blocked Lil Wayne from the 2025 Super Bowl. They said it could have been over some old beef, the same kind of behind-the-scenes politics that supposedly went down with 50. Suddenly, people started noticing a pattern where JayZ's influence might have been used to keep certain rappers off the biggest stage in the world. And social media, it exploded. Some fans were calling JayZ a petty gatekeeper and labeling him as a power abuser. Others fired back, saying 50 Cent loves stirring drama and probably just exaggerated the whole thing just to keep his name trending. Either way, the streets were split, and the tension between these two legends had everyone watching every move.
There were no 50 Cent JayZ conversations, questioning whether there was a competition between the two of them. There's a huge difference in energy internationally in 50 Cent and JayZ. In fact, his largest selling record sold 430-something thousand copies. My largest selling records, plural, 2 of them sold 5.
The truth, as always, probably lives somewhere in that messy middle ground between both sides. But one thing can't be denied. Neither the NFL, Rock Nation, nor JayZ himself has ever confirmed or denied 50 Cent's claims. That silence has let 50's version of events take over the whole conversation, and for the people really paying attention, that silence says a lot. But to really get why this whole feud cuts so deep, why JayZ would allegedly go so far to keep 50 off that Super Bowl stage, we gotta rewind the clock. Back to the origin story of one of hip-hop's most long-lasting rivalries, JayZ versus 50 Cent, the start of what some fans call an eternal war. Every legendary beef has its roots, and this one goes all the way back to when Curtis Jackson, the man we now know as 50 Cent, wasn't yet a mogul or a TV boss. In 1999, he was just a hungry rapper out of Queens, hustling hard with a record deal that wasn't doing much for him. He had around 40 tracks recorded, but no buzz, no airplay, no major hits, nothing moving. So 50 did what only 50 would do. He took a wild risk. He didn't literally rob anyone, but he sure robbed the spotlight.
And who we are with each other internationally. Let them be fooled in America and think there's a competition there. Because America can be purchased. We can buy it with marketing dollars. You see what I'm saying? But the rest of the world, there's not enough marketing dollars to go around to change the way the rest of the world feels.
Drawing inspiration from the notorious B.I.G.'s 1993 classic Just Playin', Dreams, where Biggie playfully imagined hooking up with R&B stars, 50 flipped the whole idea into something way more aggressive, a track called How to Rob. Instead of fantasizing about romance, he imagined robbing every rapper and singer in the game. And of course, JayZ wasn't left out. 50 came for everybody. The line that shook people went like this. What? Jigga just sold like 4 mil. He got something to live for. Don't want to put 4 through that Bentley coupe door. It was wild, it was reckless, and it was genius all at once. That one track got everyone in the industry talking. Even the biggest names couldn't ignore it. How to Rob spread like wildfire through mixtapes and radio shows, getting passed around by top DJs like Funkmaster Flex on Hot 97, who reportedly spun it hundreds of times a week. It hit the streets hard, buzzing in every major city. That song didn't just introduce 50 Cent, it announced him as a fearless troublemaker who wasn't afraid to call out the biggest players in the game. And from that moment on, the tension between him and JayZ was officially born. Out of nowhere, the entire hip-hop world started buzzing about this bold kid from Queens who had the nerve to name-drop over 40 big names in a single track. 50 Cent instantly became the talk of the streets. Most rappers he mentioned just laughed it off or stayed quiet, but not JayZ. Hov decided to fire back, and his response set the tone for the next 25 years of tension between them. At Hot 97 Summer Jam 1999, JayZ dropped a freestyle that's now hip-hop history. He hit the crowd with the cold line, "I'm about $1, what the fuck is 50 Cent?" It was slick, dismissive, and pure JayZ. Clever wordplay that positioned him as money itself while reducing 50 to small change. That bar had the crowd going wild, instantly stamping Jay as the untouchable top dog.
Hip-hop, his presentation makes people decide to say,
Oh man.
you know, because he's big, and his take on it is bigger than the actual art form. He won't.
The same line later showed up polished on It's Hot, Some Like It Hot, from his album Volume 3, Life and Times of S. Carter, dropping in December '99. Jay flexed hard on that track, with more bars like, "Go against Jigga? Yo, it's dense. I'm about $1 was 50 cents. But 50 wasn't the type to stay quiet. In 2000, he clapped back with Be a Gentleman, calling out JayZ directly and questioning his street credibility. He rapped, "JayZ, please, you a sham, a con, a fake, 41-year-old talking he run New York, give me a break." He mocked his image, age, and claimed that money didn't equal real respect in the streets. It was shaping up to be an all-out war, but before things could truly explode, fate stepped in with something far darker and more brutal that would change everything. On May 24th, 2000, everything changed. 50 Cent was shot 9 times right outside his grandmother's home in Queens. It was a brutal attack that almost ended his life, but somehow he survived. The incident shook the entire rap game and forced Columbia Records to drop him, shelving his debut album Power of the Dollar before it could even drop. Just like that, his come-up hit pause. While 50 spent the next 2 years healing and rebuilding from the ground up, JayZ kept climbing higher, dropping classics like The Blueprint in 2001 and cementing his place at the top. The beef went quiet for a while, buried under success and survival, but not forgotten. Then came 2002, and 50 made the ultimate comeback. With Eminem and Dry Dre backing him under shady aftermath, he roared back with Get Rich or Die Trying. When it hit in February 2003, it exploded, selling 872,000 copies in its first week, a certified takeover.
He's a piece of work. Now, he always put somebody in front of him. When Jada came for him, he put Beanie in front of him. And Beanie went back and forth with Jadakiss. When Cam came for him, he put True Life in front of him. And they went back and forth. And he just did.
50's rise didn't just shake hip-hop, it rewrote the rules. His debut album went from the streets to superstardom, eventually going diamond. Tracks like In the Club and 21 Questions were everywhere, blasting from cars, clubs, and every radio in the country. Suddenly, nobody was asking if 50 was legit anymore. They were asking if anyone could stop him. And trust, JayZ noticed. In a 2013 interview on The Breakfast Club, JayZ even admitted that he warned his Rockefeller crew to move fast before 50 took over. He said, "I'm telling you, man, y'all got a chance right now. Just flood it, put out a lot of music because 50 Cent is coming." That's major respect coming from Hov himself. By 2003, the two found themselves in this strange space of coexistence.
When Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce.
Mm-hmm.
When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those trophies came wrong.
They popped up together in a Reebok commercial, co-headlined the Rock the Mic tour, and even crossed paths musically. Jay rapped over a few of 50's beats, while 50's G-Unit sneakers outsold Jay's S. Carter line 6-1, according to 50's own boasts. On the surface, it looked like friendly competition, but behind the scenes, that tension never really disappeared. 50 kept making it clear he saw himself as the bigger global star. He pointed to the numbers, showing he was selling more overseas and reaching wider audiences than anyone expected. But he also stayed brutally honest about how he viewed JayZ. According to 50, Jay's biggest weakness isn't his talent, it's his avoidance. 50 said for years that Jay never deals with conflicts head-on, always putting other people in front to handle the heat. He once called JayZ the coolest punk in hip-hop, a sharp jab wrapped in slick wordplay. What he meant was that Jay's calm corporate image made him look smooth and untouchable, but also, in 50's eyes, too safe, too polished for the streets that built him. And that's where things get deep. To 50 Cent, JayZ represents the businessman who uses power and connections as armor, fighting his battles through contracts and influence instead of bars and confrontation. Depending on who you ask, that's either genius-level strategy or straight-up weakness. Their rivalry only grew beyond music. In 2004, 50 made one of the smartest business moves in hip-hop history, teaming up with Glaseo, the makers of vitamin water. Instead of taking a flat endorsement check, he chose equity. And when Coca-Cola bought Glaseo in 2007 for $4.1 billion, 50's share reportedly earned him around $60 million. A power move that proved he wasn't just a rapper, he was a businessman who could play JayZ's game and win. After taxes, 50 Cent's legendary vitamin water deal reportedly landed him around $100 million. Meanwhile, in that same year, 2007, JayZ made his own major business move, selling the rights to his Rocawear clothing brand to Iconic Brand Group for a staggering $204 million in cash. Both power plays were huge, but 50 never missed a chance to remind everyone that his deal was the smarter one. Equity over endorsement, baby. He loved to frame his vitamin water win as the ultimate boss move, proof that he was playing the long game better than Hov. The quiet business shade didn't stop there. As both men built their empires, their brands started competing for the same cultural territory: music, fashion, sports, and influence. It wasn't just about rap anymore. It was about who really owned the culture. Then came 2007, the year their rivalry took a wild new twist. That's when Kanye West dropped Graduation on the exact same day 50 released his album Curtis. The hip-hop world turned it into the biggest sales showdown ever, a friendly war for the throne. But when the numbers came in, Kanye took the crown, selling 957,000 copies in his first week, compared to 50's 691,000. It was a massive moment, and 50 was not happy. He later claimed that JayZ, who was Def Jam's president at the time, had secretly helped Kanye win. 50 accused JayZ of pulling strings behind the scenes, giving Kanye every advantage possible to make sure 50 took that loss. In his eyes, Jay didn't beat him directly, he used Kanye as his chess piece. It fit right into 50's long-running theory that JayZ's real skill isn't confrontation, it's manipulation, moving pieces in silence while keeping his own hands clean. But in recent years, 50's taken the rivalry into a whole new zone, one that hits JayZ where it matters most, his legacy and his wife. He's been pushing what fans now call the Grammy theory. And if you thought the Super Bowl accusations were wild, this one had the internet exploding. Across multiple interviews through 2023 and 2024, 50 started floating the idea that JayZ's massive Grammy success might not be as pure as it seems. It's a theory that's got his supporters entertained and Jay's fans furious because 50's hinting that there's more behind those golden trophies than talent alone.
The success is derived from the marriage.
Absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades. Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected.
According to 50 Cent, JayZ's massive Grammy count, 25 wins, making him the most awarded rapper in history, isn't just about the music. He claims those trophies are more connected to his marriage to Beyonce than to his solo grind or lyrical skill. That take had the internet shaking. Now, to keep it real, JayZ did have 4 Grammys before teaming up with Beyonce, not just one like 50 said. But here's where things get interesting. The numbers still tell a story. Out of Jay's 25 Grammy wins, 21 came after 2004, the same period he went public with Beyonce and started evolving into that polished hip-hop power couple image. 50's point? The shift wasn't just musical, it was strategic. He believes Jay's transformation from street hustler to mogul and family man changed how the industry viewed him and how the Grammys rewarded him. This ties perfectly into 50's long-standing view of the Recording Academy. He's been saying for years that the Grammys reward image over authenticity. He's pointed out that Tupac Shakur, one of the most impactful rappers ever, never won a single Grammy. To him, that's proof the system doesn't always celebrate the real, it celebrates the safe. And even though 50 himself has 3 Grammys, he's made it clear his criticism isn't about jealousy, it's about principle. He sees himself as the one pulling the curtain back, calling out an industry that runs on relationships, politics, and branding instead of pure talent. He's framing himself as the truth teller, the guy saying what others are scared to say. But maybe the wildest part of his recent JayZ commentary isn't even about the Grammys, it's about style. 50's been calling out Jay for allegedly copying the late artist Jean-Michel Basquiat's whole look, the hair, the vibe, the artsy aesthetic. He's basically accusing Jay of reinventing himself as a Basquiat-inspired brand just to fit that elite, museum-level image that corporate America loves. And while some people think 50's reaching with that one, it shows just how deep he's willing to go in picking apart JayZ's persona. Whether it's about awards, image, or influence, 50's not letting Hov slide on anything. His shots aren't just about music anymore. They're about legacy, image control, and who's really authentic in a game full of calculated moves. 50 Cent has been coming for everything connected to JayZ. His look, his authenticity, his business moves, and even his marriage. He didn't hold back when he called Jay's 444 album golf course music, basically saying it was too elite, too polished, and completely disconnected from the gritty streets that made Hov a legend in the first place. And he's been trolling him hard online too, flooding social media with memes about Jay looking old overnight and losing that street edge that wants to find him. The crazy part? The irony in this whole feud is almost poetic. These are two men who started with nothing. Jay from the Marcy Projects in Brooklyn, 50 from South Jamaica, Queens, Soma, and both climbed to the top, building billion-dollar empires. They should be symbols of mutual respect, right? Two kings who beat the odds. But instead, they've spent 25 years locked in a Cold War, trading shots that evolved from diss tracks to business moves to pure social media trolling. 50 stayed consistent, though. He said plenty of times that he doesn't hate JayZ personally. When they see each other, they're cool enough. But he's got a major issue with what he believes is Jay's entire way of operating. In 50's eyes, Jay doesn't fight his own fights. He uses corporate power to do it for him. He hides behind business deals, brand partnerships, and that squeaky clean image to handle beef without getting his own hands dirty. Meanwhile, 50 prides himself on being the total opposite. He thrives in the chaos. He likes to stage uncomfortable, likes confrontation out in the open, and makes sure anyone who challenges him feels it immediately. His whole identity is built on being raw, aggressive, and unapologetic. Everything he thinks JayZ moved away from the moment he traded the streets to boardrooms. It's that difference, confrontational versus calculating, public versus private, aggressive versus diplomatic, that keeps their rivalry alive. JayZ plays the long game, chess style. 50, he's all about the quick strike, Instagram posts, interviews, and jokes that hit like punches. And one thing is crystal clear, this feud isn't dying anytime soon. As long as 50 Cent got a phone and JayZ's got $1 billion empire to protect, the shots will keep flying. Some subtle, some explosive, but always keeping hip-hop's longest-running Cold War alive. One post, one headline, one power move at a time.
What makes this moment in their story so captivating is how all the drama's colliding at once. You've got the Super Bowl scandal, which exposed just how deep entertainment gatekeeping really runs. Then there's the Grammy theory, throwing shade at the credibility of music's biggest awards. Add in 50's wild claim that JayZ's been styling himself like some undercover brother, and you've got layers of tension, legacy, and pride all crashing together. But beyond the headlines, what really separates these two now isn't money or success, it's philosophy. 50 Cent still moves through the world with his chest out, unbothered and unfiltered. He posts through chaos like it's nothing. Controversies that would send other celebs running to their PR teams just fuel him even more. JayZ, though, total opposite. He plays it calm, quiet, and controlled. He lets his lawyers, executives, and corporations do the heavy lifting, staying silent while the machine handles the noise. It's almost cinematic, two totally different approaches to power. 50's the gladiator, out there in the open arena, swinging hard and living for the fight. Jay's the emperor, sitting above it all, ruling with strategy and silence. One rules the comment section, the other runs the contract clause. It's the streets versus the suits, the unfiltered versus the untouchable. And yet, after all these years, after the diss tracks, the money moves, the beefs, the memes, and the Super Bowl drama, neither one has taken the other down. That's the wildest part. Both are still standing tall, still at the top of their own kingdoms. Jay's the mogul with boardrooms at his command, and 50's the self-made empire builder who turned controversy into a business model. When you step back, you realize this rivalry isn't just about ego or competition, it's about evolution. Two legends who started from nothing, tested each other for decades, and in their own ways, forced one another to stay sharp, hungry, and unpredictable. That's what makes it timeless, a 25-year chess match between the streets and the suits, the microphone and the meeting room. No matter how much changes, both men keep pushing, proving that in hip-hop, true rivalry doesn't end, it evolves. At some point, these rivalries stop being about hate, they become about definition. Each man exists partly because of the other, their stories forever linked in the history of hip-hop's corporate era. JayZ and 50 Cent aren't just competitors, they're reflections of what power looks like in two totally different forms. So the next time you see 50 Cent drop another meme clowning JayZ or hear fresh rumors about blocked deals and behind-the-scenes sabotage, remember, you're not just watching another petty feud, you're witnessing a battle for legacy, for control, for how hip-hop itself will be remembered. These are two kings fighting for the same throne, but now the weapons aren't diss tracks and mixtapes, they're media empires, billion-dollar brands, and social media reach. And let's be real, If history's any clue, this saga's far from over. Their moves, their silence, and their shade are all part of a chess game that keeps hip-hop culture talking year after year. If you're loving this deep dive into hip-hop's wildest power plays, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more stories just like this. Keep that notification bell on. You don't want to miss what's coming next.